If you're watching this, you probably are taking Moto at CDA and did the first class. And this video is just a recap of everything that we talked about, um, just for your reference, because I know it's a lot of stuff for the first class usually, so just want to have it here to rewind and look at stuff again. So what are we doing? First things first, let's look at some settings real quick. I like to set my navigation style to Maya because most 3D packages use Maya navigation. So I'm going to go to System, Preferences, look for remapping, and yeah, I want mouse input presets up here, and I'm gonna say Maya navigation only and say blah 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 blah. No, I don't. So okay, so that's good. And also aside from that, I'm gonna go in here, System, Open User Folder, and right here we have configs and scripts, which Kevin should have emailed you, or CDA should have emailed you a zip file with some scripts and configs that you can just copy and paste directly over these two to overwrite them, or merge the folders together, and that'll just give you a couple of neat little shortcut stuff that I like to use, like the way you can test it to see if this script stuff is working is once you copy and paste it in here or into that system user folder, copy paste these two over these two, and then just hover over your window here and press Q, and you should get a little menu like this. And don't worry if some things are blacked out, it's fine. And also you should see these two little buttons up here, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so what are we doing first? I think we're gonna make a grenade in class, so let me start off by doing the grenade. Okay, so the way to spin around like this around your center is by holding Alt and the left mouse button. To pan is Alt and the middle mouse button, and zoom is Alt plus the right mouse button. So basically all navigation is with holding down Alt key and your three different mouse buttons, so it's very easy to remember. The next thing you need to remember is how to select different elements of your model. So verts, which I'll talk about later, is 1, edges is 2, 3 is polygons, 4 is materials, 5 is item, 6 is pivot, center. The point is 1, 2, 3, just use all your number keys up on top to switch to different selection types, and we will look at that right now. So if I want to make one of these primitives up here on the top left, and right now I'm in the basic upper left tab, and this should just be the stock Moto what it shows when it first opens up. So if I hold down Shift, see how all these buttons change? Actually, a lot of different buttons change, and that's because you know, holding Shift creates a different function for a lot of buttons. So I am going to make a cylinder. So I hold down Shift, click the cylinder, and actually, you know what? Okay, so I think since I'm going to be making a grenade, so let me look up grenade. right here, I'm gonna just make one of these style with the square bumps. Actually, hmm. I can actually, I'm gonna bring in a picture. So just save one of these out. Let's see, save as on the desktop here. And then should be able to just drag and drop. So let's see, where's that grenade? Oh, I saw it. There it is. So you just grab this, drop it, and so this image is considered an item in Modo. Oh, sorry. Let me go up here in the top right and click on this, which is my item list. It's kind of similar to layers in Photoshop. Let me close this out. I don't need that. Let's see. So this is layers, kind of. Here, this backdrop item is the image that I just brought in. Um, so I can scale this image by going over here and clicking on this last one with the squares. And the way this scale works is I can drag this middle, click and drag on this middle button, and then I can move it by clicking this arrow icon over here. Move it back a little bit, just for reference. Okay, so I'm still on the move tool. You can see by that the icon is highlighted, and I can see the handles here. And also down in the bottom left, whatever tool you have going is going to show up down in this area over here. So if I switch to rotation, it's going to be rotation, scale, move, and each tool has its own special little options here, like checkboxes and whatever. But we'll talk about that later. So anyway, I want to escape out of the tool. So I escaped, and I can escape again to get out of this selection that I have, right, like that. And then I can click on this one, the cylinder, to start modifying it. So right now I'm in item mode, which is basically layers. So this is one layer, this is one layer, right? So I've switched to this layer, which is also over here, called cylinder. And if I want to start to modify it, I have to go into one of these three elements selection modes. Vertices, edges, and polygons are the three types of elements that you can select. So a vert is a point, pretty much, just a point. I can left click and hold down, drag and paint my selection, right? And then W for move tool, and then just whatever. I also have symmetry on, which is up here in the X direction. Edges are basically lines that connect verts. I can double click on one little piece of an edge and select the entire loop, is what it's called. So that's a loop, that's a loop, that's a loop, that's a loop. Basically, whenever a line continues in a continuous direction without interruption, it's considered a loop. And by interruption, I mean a triangle. So if I put a triangle in here, so this right now is a triangle, and I try to select the loop, it's gonna stop wherever it runs into a triangle, like that. See? And this is the reason why it's nice, or what I'm usually shooting for a model that doesn't have any triangles in it, or I try to limit the triangles to just spaces where I really need to use them, just because of that little annoyance there. Like, it kind of blocks the flow of your selections. Okay, so what are we gonna do with this? I'm trying to, so I have a bunch of these edges here, right? So I can press 2 to select edges, right? And I can move down to select, I'm just left clicking and dragging to select stuff. Um, the problem is these squares are a bit chunkier than the squares I have here, so I'm going to try to modify my cylinder to get this kind of a shape of squares. So what I can do is delete some of these edges. So I can double click on this one, hold down shift, and double click, double click, double click, double click on every other one, and delete those. So backspace to delete them. Versus if I hit delete versus backspace, oh, it does the same thing now. Okay, never mind. It used to, whoa, it used to make a hole there if I would delete it, but I guess it doesn't matter now. Anyway, so I just got rid of those, right? So backspace, and then also I want to pick every other one going this way, and if I hit L on the keyboard, just the letter L by itself, it picks the loop. L stands for loop. So I've got those loops, and I do the same thing, backspace, right? So now these are looking a little bit more reasonable. And let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this top one, I'm also going to get rid of that top one. So let's say I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this top one is like a longer piece, so I'll just extend that out. Oops, just I'm using this move tool, which is W. Oh yeah, and I'm switching to polygons. So we were just using edges, which you can totally use an edge here. Press W to move it, right? Or you can pick the polygon. So that's considered a polygon, and move that. It's the same thing. Like, that's a polygon there. Move it. Okay, so now I'm also gonna, I turned off my symmetry and I'm scaling it down. The reason why I turn off the symmetry, like if I have my symmetry on and I try to scale it, see how it's scaling symmetrically like that, which I don't want. So off, scale that in. You know what am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna I'm just getting the overall vertical breakup. So this one's longer and then these are shorter. I'm gonna pick both of these ends with both of the polygons on each end. So 1, holding down shift, 2, and then I'm gonna go into the scale tool over here. Oh, whoops, scale. And the third thing I'm gonna do is go up here to fall offs, and I'm clicking on fall offs, and I'm looking for this soft selection. And what this one is super cool. It gives like kind of a gradient selection. So if I start to scale, you see I can get this grenade shape pretty quickly, pretty easily, right? So something like that. And I can scale using this green one, which means it's scaling this way and that way only. See what I mean? Or you can use this the middle one, which scales in all 3 directions. So something like that I think is good. And then Another thing to look at is inside the fall. Once you turn on this fall off, you get extra options down here, and one of the options is radius. And if you drag this down, it just makes the strength less. But I want it kind of around there, so you can play around with that, see what works. Okay, so that's good. Now I think I'm gonna just select all these bottom pieces here. So the way I did that is a new type of selection, and that's a marquee. So I just hold down middle mouse button to do that selection. So that's middle mouse, just like that. And it picks all the way through the object, so it's nice and fast. Okay, so I've got that. The next thing I'm going to do is called a bevel to make these little bumps coming out. So I'm going over here to bevel, which is, it also has a little shortcut key there, right? If I hover over the tool, I can see the shortcut key is B. And it also tells me right there, B. So if I press B, also, I'm going to undo that. But I want you to, I'm going to escape out of everything first and then reselect this. I want you to look down here as when I hit the B key, which is going to activate this bevel tool. So I hit B. See how I got all these options down here? And you always want to pay attention to these options for whenever you're starting a tool, because there's a lot of cool things that you might not have noticed otherwise. So this is a normal bevel, right? You can go in and out like that, which is cool. You can go like, yeah, this doesn't even look good. But another option here is this little checkbox called Group Polygons. So if I uncheck it, you notice something weird happened, right? What it's doing is now when I drag this red one, I can make little individual bumps, which is super handy. So let's just do that to taste, whatever you want. Okay. And this part, I'm not sure if I should bevel this too. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. Ugh. Okay, the problem now is I gotta freaking fix this up because it's got a gap here that's not supposed to be there. I guess I could go in here and like, I don't like it. I don't like it. You could go in and like go here and but you know what? We'll save that for later. We'll save that for later. This is our first model. So, okay. Okay, so let's look at this grenade thing. And you notice that the actual grenade is a little bit softer. Kind of the corners are softer or whatever, but we can get that by just doing a what's called a subdivision in Modo. So the way you get into subdivision mode for any model is you just hold down Shift and Tab together. So Shift, Tab. And I got like a lumpy pineapple thing. So Shift, Tab again brings me back to my normal model. So beep, 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 beep. And you can switch back and forth whenever you want. You can have some parts that are not subdivided and some parts that are, but I would recommend keeping it all. If it's connected together like this, if I can double click something and it's all one big piece, I would rather have it all in one type of like either like this or all like this. So this is a little too lumpy, or a lot too lumpy. So what I'm going to do is basically double the edges everywhere. So I can switch to edges mode, deselect everything, go to bevel. Okay, bevel, which is pretty much the same tool we just used to make these squares, but we can also, and when we made the squares we were beveling the polygons, right? These square polygons here. But what I'm going to do now is do a bevel on the edges. So let's do a bevel on one edge, see what happens. So B, I click and drag to make a bevel. So it makes a little double edge there, right? And when I go into my tab, shift tab, see how I got a little bit of a crease there? Let me do that again. So let's say I bevel all of these edges here and make it really, really tight. That means I'm going to get a really crispy edge right there. See that? So, okay, how about we just bevel the whole entire thing all at once? And the way we do that is just don't select any edges. So deselect, just click off. I'm on edges, and I go bevel, click and drag. See how it's beveling everything at the same time? This is another weird Modo convention where anything that's not selected, or if you have nothing selected, Modo thinks that everything is selected, which is kind of handy actually, because it just means you don't have to go and like, oh, let me click every single thing and or whatever like that. You just can skip all that and just do the tool without worrying about it. Okay, so you can even bevel while you're in this weird subdivision mode. So I did shift tab to get over here, and I'm going to do the same. I'm in edges, so press 2, press B, click and drag, and as I drag right it gets softer, as I drag left it gets sharper. So just do something like that, right? Good enough. Okay, so that's it. That's the body. That's pretty much the hard part. So let's keep going. And what else can we do here? Okay, let's try. I went back to my normal mode. I like to model like in this low polygon mode, just so I can see exactly where my points are, because it's kind of tough when everything is smooth like this. You don't know exactly where your edges are. So I go back here. I'm gonna get this top polygon. I press 3 to switch to polygon again, and I copy, paste, move. So that's 3 keys. I click this, I say Control C, Control V, and then W. And then I can move this copied piece up. Okay, Control C, Control V, W for move. Just so I can make, what is this, a little red collar thing. So, let's see. I can also thicken this. This is a piece of paper, right? It has no thickness. So there's another tool down here called thicken. I'll just click that, click in here, use the blue one, okay, and escape to get out of it. So now I have a separate piece here for the collar, and I can scale this in a little bit or whatever. Okay, so now I can copy this, copy, paste, move it up. I'm going to pick this top piece. See how I've got like, it comes up, in, up, out. So in, up, out. So I'm going to bevel. So B, the red one to go in, escape, B again, the blue one to go up, escape, B again, blue up, red out. Let me see, actually I'm going to go down here, steeper angle. And then another thing I can do to speed up these bevels, if I undo, undo, undo. Let's say I'm down here again. I press B. I did a bevel, right? And instead of escaping out of bevel and then pressing B again, escape B every time you want to make a new one, all you have to do is hold down Shift. So you know how Shift usually means add, like in Photoshop or in Windows or whatever. Shift always means to add more to your selection or whatever. So I'm holding down Shift so I can add another bevel. So hold on Shift. I click once over here off in the window, not on the arrows. If I click on the arrows while holding Shift, nothing happens. If I click off, it's just started a new bevel. If I hold down Shift now and I click off, it just started a new bevel. Hold down Shift, click over here. So that's a little bit weird to get used to, but once you get the hang of it, it really speeds up that stuff. So I'm just scaling this. Oh yeah, and what I did there was I picked two polygons in a direction, like that, and I press L to complete the loop. Just the same way that we did pick two edges, right? And press L to complete the loop. I can do the same thing with polygons. And also, on the bottom here, there's kind of a curve, right? So I think I'm gonna pick this bottom corner. Let's say this bottom corner is coming down here like this. So I picked it, and I'm gonna bevel that edge. I just double click that edge. B for bevel. Drag, and then don't exit the tool yet. I haven't touched anything else. I'm gonna go down here to the round level, which is in the edge bevel options. Always check the bottom left for your options, and then you can click that a couple times to make it round. Okay, so that's good. What else can we do? So this is kind of the front half of that piece, and then the back half is just a straight shot back. So to do that, let's try. Okay, I'm gonna hide everything else. So to do that, I can go to View, Hide Unselected. Well, yeah, first you got to select the part you want to keep. So Hide Unselected, which it also gives you the hotkey here if you want to use Shift H. So now I have just the head up here. And I'm going to switch to verts mode, so press 1 and middle mouse button to select a box around the back half, and then W to move it back like that. Okay, and maybe just pick these back ones, W, move it back like that. And I don't like this, shit. This is not supposed to be round back here, back here. I think maybe if I get, okay, let me scale, I'm gonna scale these guys a little bit down like that, and then pick all these guys here. I lost my symmetry too. Oh shit, I'm building it the wrong way. Symmetry Z, and I'm gonna scale flat. So that's R for scale tool. Drag it flat. And if yours is, when you drag it like this, it's going all the way over here and it's going backwards, that means you have a negative scale on, which means you're going to be able to go backwards like that. but 99% of the time you don't want that on. So I'm gonna uncheck that negative scale. Oh shoot, uncheck it. So when I drag it, it just flattens things, which is super handy. So now I'm gonna move it straight. So I'm gonna move that out. Yep. So I'm just trying to flatten out this side. And what else? Maybe flatten out this. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see here. Let me flatten out this part here and delete everything back here. Oh no, don't delete it. Okay, so I've got that, and delete that, delete that, delete that. Flatten this out some more, make it totally straight here. Maybe something like that. And then I can drag out this edge or extend this edge. So what is that? This is a little bit more specialized tool. I have to go into edges over here and say extend, which is Z is the shortcut. So Z, I click once in the window and then I can drag this out like that. Okay. And then to get this weird the angle there, I can go to deform and then shear, which is Control W. So I click, and you see how I have like a little triangle gradient here. It basically moves all those pieces together like in a straight gradient. I don't know how to explain it exactly. Just look at it. So escape, escape. Oops. Ooh. Okay. Escape, escape, escape. Move that over. I just did a U for unhide. View unhide to get back my body of the grenade. And then now, I'm not sure exactly how the back of this thing looks, but whatever. Okay. So let's make this top piece too. Let's see what can I do. I can just grab this. What I like to do is instead of making a new piece, I'll just copy paste. So Control C, Control V, W to move. So I just copied that little piece right here. Control C, Control V, move. And then rotate. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. So you can just type in 90. Or what I usually do is I hold down Control first. Then I can click and drag. And when I click and drag, it does it in 15-degree increments. So I got 90. Drag that out. Drag this edge back. And then if you remember this tool we used to extend this part here, that was called edge extend. So I go under edge, extend, and that's Z key. So Z. And then remember how we use shift to start a new bevel? It's going to work the same way for this tool. So shift, click and drag. And notice I don't have to click on directly on this these buttons here. I can click anywhere on the window. So hold down shift. And now I'm not holding shift, so I can continue editing this one. Otherwise, if I were holding shift, I would be making a bunch of new pieces, right? So let's see, this is good, I think. And remember, we're probably going to smooth this out, so I don't need to use too many pieces here. I can just keep it very simple, like kind of a gesture of the shape. Let's say it comes back down in here. You know, simpler is probably better in this case. So 1, 2, 3 pieces for the back, and then 1, 2 here. And these two close together ones I made so I can get a nice crease here. So when I select this piece and do Shift Tab, see how I get a corner right here? If I pick this and backspace it, see how I don't really get that. I just kind of a doughy corner. So I can pick this again, B for bevel, turn this down to 0, and make a corner again. Okay, I'm gonna make a freaking thing over here, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of like what we did for this neck here, is make a cylinder and then drag half of it out to make it straight. So I'll do the same thing. I go back up here, basic, up to my cylinder, and this time when I'm making the cylinder, I can kind of adjust it beforehand. So segments, I want one segment and like 32 sides, and I'm gonna face my camera sideways and hold down Control and drag, left click drag. So that's again facing sideways. I've got this tool, I got 32, 1, hold down Control, drag it. So now I got a cylinder, excuse me, and I'm gonna put it where it's supposed to go, right here. And then this time I'm gonna make a box selection, make a box selection of polygons right here. So I've selected the back half of it, and I'm just gonna simply switch to Move tool, just W over here. And again, like if you hover over any tool, it gives you the shortcut right there. So move, rotate is E, scale is R. You're gonna use these like all all the time, so you might as well remember W, E, R. They're next to each other on the keyboard, so it makes sense. Those are your main transforms. Okay, so let's drag that out. I have a feeling that this is too wide. Whatever, I don't know. I can't tell. Can't tell, bad reference. So I'm just gonna adjust this a little bit. Maybe I can reuse these pieces here. So if I copy, paste, and then scale, like that, and then I can just connect these to the little gap here. So I can say pick one, then the other, holding Shift, and then say bridge. Make sure this segments are in 0, 0, everything 0. And also make sure your symmetry is off, because symmetry will screw this tool up sometimes. And then maybe this lip goes down a little bit more, so Z, something like that. Okay. And then the other thing with this piece is there's, let me see here. hope that's right. Okay, so I need more detail in this latch or this handle because I want to make these little metal parts that kind of flare out. So, and if I can't really get those shapes are too complicated to get with just this one piece here, right? So I'm gonna get more detail or more resolution in this piece. The way to do that is I just double click it, go to geometry, and freeze. And this only works if I am whoop, uh-oh. Hold on, I think I might, yeah, let me see. Yeah, okay, so this front part is smooth. It shouldn't be. Okay, I'm gonna pick a couple of these. Sorry guys. Backspace that. So yeah, this front part was in subdivision mode and the back part wasn't, which is what was making it all funky. So this time I got it all together. So double click, make sure you're in the smooth mode. So right now I just did shift tab to get into subdivision. Geometry, freeze. Okay. Okay, so now I have a little more detail to mess around with. Let me see. So let me start here. 1, 2, 3. I can pick 2 in a row and start pressing the up arrow to pick more. So I just turned on my symmetry too. So I can do the other side at the same time. So 1, 2, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, up arrow, down arrow. So again, edge extend, right? So I can drag this down. Z, click, scale, maybe. So you can come in a little bit like that. And then from there, it's just kind of manual tweaking. It's not too many pieces, so it should be manageable. But so I'm just using the regular move tool now and just dragging these around. Oops. I'm just trying to do like a general shape. This front part curves around like that. I can delete these middle ones. Also, there's kind of a corner happening up here too, right? So maybe, yeah, let me pick these. I'll pick them. Why is it doing that? Oops. So let me just manually pick it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with upper arrow and bevel. Like that. Good enough. And you can bevel verts too. I mean, that's probably not a good idea actually. So you can bevel these edges. Just get the curve going and then left click drag, shift and double click to complete the loop, and then you can bevel, B for bevel, and do something like that, right? Maybe here to, oops, okay. Something like that. Alright, good enough. This doesn't look right. uh, okay, so what I'm doing here, this kind of selection that I'm just did is kind of a weird one. So I'm double clicking the polygons here to pick this whole front piece, and then I'm converting the polygons into vert selection. So if I hold down Alt, I can convert. See how all these top buttons say convert? So I can convert to vert, which is these points, right? And then what I do is I hold down Control so I can deselect now. So deselect all this front stuff. And now that gives me the control on just this back part, which is what I wanted. I just did a convert to edges, so hold down Alt, press 2 to convert to edges. Now I can do edge extend, just because I wanted to try this. It looks like there's kind of a bend there, a little bit. Just hiding that. Okay, so that's good. And then what? There's a thing here, so I can make a cube. So if I'm still in symmetry, which means if I click a cube, left click and drag, and then pull out this red one, I can make a little thingamajigger here, whatever that is. I made it super huge. Something like that. Okay, it's almost there. This ring thing, let's see, how can we do that? Contrary to what it looks like, this is not the right tool. Maybe more of this one. There's actually a helix tool, isn't there? Okay, here's what we can do. Let's make a little circle here. So let's see. I picked the circle and I dragged it out, right? Yeah, this tool dragged out a circle just with left click, and I'm gonna type in my values here. So radius, I want it to be equal this and this, so it's 4 and 4, so it can be a perfect circle. Oh shit! So escape to let go of that. So I just have a circle floating in space here, and I want to make a kind of a helix, a coil. So I can go, I think this is the tool. Let me go duplicate, radial sweep. So duplicate, radial sweep, and then I click somewhere. Nope. So right now it's going up and down, which is the wrong way. So let me switch it to Z for the axis, which is the right way. And let's try also doing some offset here. So offset is what's going to give you that little, oops, offset gives you the kind of the keychain ring thing. You can do staircases like this or whatever, springs, and it also overlaps a little bit. So let me change the end angle to be like about that, right? And then you can change the count. And then I'm colliding, so maybe a little bit more. Whoops. something like that. Okay, so that's good. Now I can double click this thing. See how it looks like it's inside out right now? So all the polygons are flipped inside out. So I'm going to double click it, press F to flip, and now they're right side out again. Another thing is I want to delete this other side, so I turn off symmetry, double click that, delete it, and I'm going to rotate this, so E to rotate, make it so this side is on the right side here. I made mine a little bit too thick, but it's okay. I'm going to rotate it so it's sitting on the edge there like it's supposed to. Okay, and I'm going to make a little ring here too, so back to basic. And this one, the donut, the torus, is good, I think. So I can hold down control, drag it out, and play around with this. I just want the inner ring, I want it to be a little bit thinner, so okay, so here, move. Notice how I'm switching my camera view. If I want to move this thing left and right, I have to be facing it from the side so I can move left and right. And I can click anywhere and wherever, it doesn't matter, and it's going to move left and right. If I switch this way, I can move it that way. Ah, God, I'm horrible at explaining, but words are not needed when you have video, right? So put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. Okay. Boop, 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 scale. Rotate a little bit. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Good, 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 good. Whatever. Good. Great. Awesome. Eh. Oh yeah, and then there's probably a pin. Sorry, I forgot to adjust this. Something like that. And then, yeah, pin. So another cylinder. And I'm just going to hold down control, drag. And if I want to center this thing over here in the middle, I can go to center selected up here on the left side and say center selected on Z. And scale out like that. So now I know it's exactly in the middle, and I can put it somewhere in there. So we don't want to blow up yet. Gotta keep it simple. Oops. Bevel that maybe. Also, we can thicken this thing. So just double click here, thicken, same thicken we used before, and you get these blue and red, just like the bevel. And make it a little bit thick, like that. There you go. That looks good. So let me save this. I should have saved this about a year ago. Go back in here, Grenade B. Okay. And shift tab on that. Okay, let's make some materials too. So I'm gonna select the piece that I want to be a certain color. So this should all be this green worn out metal thing. So select those, press M, and name it whatever you want it to be. So worn paint green. And if I click over here, shading tab, uh, this is kind of like, okay, item list is layers for objects and whatever. Shading is layers but for your rendering and your materials and all that business. So see how the group that we just made, let me undo that. So I double click here, M, Warren Paint Green, okay. It just makes a little folder with a little material inside the folder. So if I change the color of this material, it works there. So I can pick this, 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 this. Okay, this is going to be my worn metal gray. So M to set the material. So worn metal gray. And you can also set a color, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to go in after, click the color, and change it here. Okay. This right here can be red, and so on, And then the last one is like worn, scratchy paint, metal, latch thing, gray, dark. So this one's like this, like this, like that. Meh. Okay, cool. So this is good. I'm going to turn off this. We can turn off all this business by holding Control 1, toggle grid, Control 1, toggle wireframe. Wow, look how beautiful it is. And you can also, if you go in item mode and press, what is it? The backslash, is that backslash the one that's next to the shift key? And it also has a question mark on that key. Just press that. Really? It doesn't work. Damn it. Okay, never mind. Don't do that. Don't do it. You cannot, but just marvel in the glory of the wonderful grenade thing. Oh, I forgot that piece. So if you want to reassign a piece or add a piece to a different selection, so I want to add this to that, and that was what? Worn metal gray. So double click that, M, and then I get a little drop down menu, so I can say worn metal gray. Okay, there it is. So now it's the same material. Worn metal gray. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna pause this video or stop it before the whole thing crashes. And this is the modeling part of the grenade. Cool. Boop, 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 stop.